After a nuclear power plant accident, researchers found radioactive isotopes of iodine, tellurium, and cesium, but no heavy isotopes in the atmosphere downwind. Okay, this material came either from spent fuel rods or from the plant's core. Spent fuel rods never contain significant quantities of tellurium isotopes.
So there I'm stopping and looking
Mhm.
at, okay, I see a redundant here. So I'm saying like, okay, so after this accident, they found I, T, and S in the atmosphere downward. Word. The material came from fuel rods or from the plant's core. Um, but we know the fuel rods never have T. And I'm like, okay, so they could have had I or C.
Yes.
So I stopped there and figured that out now before I continue on. Is that a good
Yeah.
example of kind of how pausing? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So go ahead
Okay.
and, oh, I guess it says significant too. So never contains significant quantities. All right. Anyways, continue on.
Radioactive material ejected into the atmosphere directly from the core would include heavy isotopes. So it could include I, T, and S, but it also would include heavy isotopes, even though heavy isotopes were not found in the atmosphere downwind.
Yep.
After the accident, steam, which may have been in contact with the core, was released from the plant. Okay, so steam could have touched the core, and it was also released from the plant. And the core contains IT and IT and C, which are easily dissolved by steam.
Cool.
Okay, so basically the same things that were found in the atmosphere downwind are also found in the core.
Yes, but they can easily be dissolved by steam.
Yeah. And steam was found.
And steam was
So
really, yeah. So then I'm
yeah.
like, okay, so how do we find these things? All right, cool. I have no idea what this is talking about at all. I don't know what IPNC is. I don't know what steam, like, I can't even picture this. I'm just like drawing, like, I got this and I got this.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so go ahead and start.
Okay. So radioactive material ejected into the environment directly from a nuclear power plant's core would not include tellurium. No. Wait. Hold on one second. No, that's not right, because it says that radioactive material would include heavy isotopes. It doesn't say that it doesn't include tellurium
Yep.
isotopes.
But what about ours? You're right that this one's wrong, but what about this specific accident?
Well, yeah, and then it also said,
So this specific, all I was gonna get is this specific accident must not have had any T from this area because there were no heavy isotopes. But you're right about A being wrong because we're not talking about this nuclear power plant accident. We're talking about radio material just in general.
oh yeah, true. Like it's not even relevant because it's not talking about the specific accident.
Well, but it's not. Well, I was just adding more how they're different. You're right for this being wrong because it says like if radioactive like material were to be to be ejected directly, it would have heavy isotopes. But ours here doesn't have heavy isotopes.
Right.
But you're right. I was just continue.
Okay.
Yep.
The radioactive material detected by the researchers was carried into the atmosphere by steam that was released from the plant. Um, like I guess it could have. Like I would leave that, I think.
Yeah, because where else could it all have came from if it wasn't from this was released from the plant? Yeah, I like B. Okay.
Yeah. The nuclear power plant's spent fuel rods were not damaged. Okay, that's irrelevant, and it also doesn't say that at all. Um, the researchers found some radioactive material from spent fuel rods, as well as some material that was ejected into the atmosphere directly from the plant's core. no, like I guess it could be true, but I don't think it's like very strongly supported.
Okay, so it tells us that things could either come from the spent fuel rod or things could come from the plant's core. If
And
it came
so
from, yeah, so the
so
spent,
if it came from radioactive, it would include heavy isotopes, but there were no heavy isotopes found.
correct, but what if it came from, yeah, you're right. Yeah, they found some radioactive material. And if there was radioactive material, it would have been heavy isotopes, but there were none. Perfect.
Right. Okay. Spent fuel rods do not contain heavy isotopes in significant quantities. No, I mean, it doesn't say that anywhere, or it doesn't really imply that anywhere. It just says they don't contain significant quantities of tellurium.
Yep, where this is wrong because of isotopes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it
Yeah, so then B makes sense.
And so where's our support for B at?
So, okay, so at the end it says they're easily dissolved by steam. So if it's dissolved by steam, I guess like steam could have carried it or something. Like it's dissolved and then the atmosphere downward would take the
So
iodine,
I
tellurium, and cesium.
I think it more so comes from, we know that there were we found these three things.
Mm-hmm.
And the three things either came from spent fuel rods or they came from the plant's core. We
Right.
know that the spent fuel rods never had significant quantities of T, so it couldn't have
Right.
been T. And we know that steam came in contact with the core.
Right.
After,
So like the core is the only place that they could have gotten the right combination of stuff.
yes, and the core had these things. Yep, it was
Right.
easily dissolved by steam, and steam came in contact with the core, so therefore the core released these three things.
Right.
And this is why it's like most strongly supported and not must be true.
Right.
So it's like
Right.
95% sure, not like, I wouldn't say like 100% certainty.